All right, we are live. Greetings to you. Make sure my microphone is working. I hope that everybody is doing well. We're going to bypass the whole dancing. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. We're going to bypass all that today. So many of us have had the pleasure, in fact, we have a problem. All right. So many of us have had the good fortune to listen to the delightful telephone call by Christopher Proudfoot. Now that is a man, right? Woo! He is teaching all other men how to be an alpha. Isn't that the nonsense that the virtue signalers are spewing? What an alpha male he is. That Christopher Proudfoot is simply doing his job as a powerful, strong man and taking care of his family. Nonsense. Mr. Proudfoot actually asked, he suggested that Chloe Seth Rogers, PI, private investigator, that Chloe needed some education. And in fact, he used that idea of education to issue a threat of bodily harm. And so I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to try to help out? Let me help you out, Christopher. Isn't that what he said to Trisha on Web Sleuths over and over and over? Let me help you out. Well, let me just help you out. Let me make this real clear for you. Y'all have heard all the nonsense, correct? All right. So I thought that it would be a good idea, since Mr. Proudfoot, Mr. Chris Sir, is so interested in educating others about things that he just knows everything about and they know nothing about. I thought it might be interesting to maybe educate Chrissy Pissy. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. We say chatty waddy, chatty daddy, Chrissy. What goes with that? Hey, now then. So let's get on with the education. We want to make this clear for Mr. Chrissy Pissy Sir, correct? Because he values knowledge and education. So I actually went in search of, information about Mr. Chris Sir. I wanted to know. I wonder if the Bower Sox have put anything out there on the internet about Chrissy, whatever fits best. I wonder if there's like videos of Chris when he was a little kid. I wonder if we might be able to get on a time machine and go back in time to visit Mr. Chris Sir when he was a kid, to see if he was the model child that he expected from Sebastian. And I ran across this particular clip. So let's see what Mr. Chris Sir might have been like when he was a kid. This actually, in truth, this is a training video that was put out by a college who was training professional psychologists. This was one of their training videos. We don't do this anymore. It's highly unethical. You can do it in very, very specific circumstances, but it takes a whole book full of, approvals and signatures. And most psychologists say, no, not going to do this. It's unethical, bad, wrong. But this is from 1960. So the age is close, right? So this is from 1960. It's an actual training video. This is actually a real child that was in therapy. His mother is the real mother. But let's just zoom back into time and see what Chrissy Pissy might have been like as a kid.
He's an intelligent child and a very attractive one. But Philippe is a problem. At school, at home, to himself. Philippe is an overly aggressive child. What can be done? We can say, oh,
sorry, I'm
he's an intelligent child and a very attractive one. But Philippe is a problem. At school, at home, to himself. Philippe is an overly aggressive child. What can be done? We can say, oh, this is just a phase, he'll outgrow it. Or we can recognize that he needs help and that something can be done to help him. This is the supervisor of his nursery school, Miss Steinberg.
The funny part to me on this is notice the supervisor of the school is smoking a cigarette during this interview.
Tried to choke a little boy because this little boy wanted to play with a little girl that he was particularly interested in.
So this aggressive, angry child literally choked another child because he wanted to play with that little girl. I wonder if she had red hair.
He's inclined to reject any authority or limits set for him by the teacher. And it became so bad, even to the extent of hitting the teacher, that we had to ask the mother to come in to see us. And we recommended that she goes to the Children's Hospital for help.
This is Dr. Hyman Kaplan.
Your mommy is worried.
There's Chrissy
Because
Wisty.
you used to do so much fighting at school. And she'd like to know how we could teach you not to fight so much. Do you have any ideas?
No.
Would you like to
I am
learn
who I am. I'm
how not
Brad.
to fight?
I'm
But you think
direct.
fighting
I'm
is the best
rude.
way to do things.
Yeah.
And you don't feel you know any other way?
This is Philippe's mother.
Is terribly disobedient. A child has to know and has to respect authority from a teacher or from a parent. I feel.
Well, according to some YouTube creators and Chrissy Wisty, all you got to do is just beat the crap out of the kid. Just beat that kid. So I guess that means that Chris himself did not get beaten in the same way that he beat Sebastian, perhaps? Or did he get beat and he still turned out to be a rather unpleasant fellow, correct? Now, I've got another video to put up here, so give me just a second to get it connected. This is off of the lab. So thank you, the lab, for working on this audio and getting it cleaned up. And it does, in fact, sound great. So thank you for that. Before I play the video that most of us have already heard, I want to talk a little bit about emotional maturity, because we said that this was going to be like a educational kind of video, right? So emotional maturity will definitely impact a person's ability to receive, implement, and respect boundaries. You have to have emotional maturity to not only figure out what your own healthy boundaries are and how to properly implement them in a healthy way that doesn't violate others but protects you and your limits. But it also requires emotional maturity for you as an individual, as an adult. You've got to have emotional maturity to respect other people's boundaries. Correct? It would seem that the little boy from the video that we just watched, Chrissy Wisty, he's having trouble with boundaries. He just thinks what I want, I get with no limitations. And he doesn't seem to have the ability to filter out what would be considered as socially inappropriate by most people. And so if he, thinks, hey, I'm going to be funny, I'm going to be a comedian, then I'm going to go on my friend's channel and I'm going to use a voice changer to pretend to be a person that was actually a murderer. And won't that be fun? He literally thought it was a good time. It was the most bizarre thing. And it was only the second time I've ever heard of this kind of thing happening. And the first was with, Don and Candace Wells. Mr. Proudfoot, you are in bad company. Like, you are joining a club of people that the majority of us would run away from kicking and screaming. You have a 15-year-old missing kid who's got special needs. You guys have zero idea, or you claim you don't know where he is. You claim that. But you think it's funny to go on a YouTube channel and pretend to be Billy Bob Thornton? Oh, what about this one? Chrissy Pissy broke the internet. Oh, yes, that's right. Christopher Proudfoot. Why, he's right up there with Kim Kardashian. You don't have Kim Kardashian's butt. Just saying. People are still looking for your butt, Chris. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know where it is, but it's laughable that you would claim, I broke the internet. You broke the internet because you went on web sleuths? Let me try to help you, Chris. I know you like that phrase. Let me help you out here. You were on web sleuths because of the potential for a murdered child that was living in your home. Not because you had a very impressive physique or that you are particularly lovely. That's not why you were on there. You didn't break the internet because you have something special to offer humanity. You broke the internet because people cannot believe their effing eyes and ears when you speak. You have got to be the single most rude person I have ever even encountered peripherally that I've ever seen, ever. If I was given a choice, Jules, you get to spend 24 hours with Don and Candace Wells or Christopher Proudfoot. What's your choice? We'll wait. Oh, no, don't wait. I'm going with Don and Candace Wells, hands down. Because this other guy, I don't know. He seems a little dangerous to me. He's got some emotional maturity problems that would appear, at least that's what he's demonstrating. He seems like he wants us to think that he's having some boundary issues. It seems like frontal lobe, there's no filters working, I don't think, unless it's planned behavior. Perhaps Mr. Proudfoot wants to go online and act crazy. Maybe the whole Billy Bob Thornton routine was intentional to look nuts. And maybe the recording that we're about to listen to was another opportunity to say, hey, Katie, I'm going to go online and be insane. That's going to be fun. Is that what you did? This is the strangest situation ever. But I feel like every single true crime channel, every single one must, as a moral imperative, they must play this recording because you have to know, Mr. Proudfoot, you cannot go around threatening people with damage and shame and embarrassment and death and humiliation. You can't do that. I know you think that you're very important. I know that. trust me, you've definitely put that message out there loud and clear. Christopher Proudfoot, special. Seth Rogers, not special. And I think that you should show a little bit more respect to web sleuths and other people in the true crime genre who actually do investigation, looking for information. I think you should show them a little more respect. And the reason that I think you should do that is because they at least are demonstrating an adult level of self-restraint. They at least are not getting online at night, perhaps intoxicated. I don't think you sound intoxicated, but maybe that would explain this erratic and odd behavior. But they're not getting on drunk or messed up and using the most filthy names in the human experience. In what way did you grow up exactly that using the word CUNT or RETARD, how is that acceptable? Is that part of what makes you an alpha male? Because if you believe that, I would say, wait a minute, we got to go back and do some teaching because Chris doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. What you are doing, the way you are talking on this video, this is actually the perfect definition of toxic masculinity. An alpha male does not have to use offensive words to get their point across. In fact, cuss words, shocking words related to misogyny or racism or anything like that, those words are actually the tools of a dull mind. Tell me something, Chrissy Pissy. Do you have a dull mind? Are you low IQ? You claim to be smarter than Seth Rogers, but he seems to understand boundaries. Mr. Rogers seems to have an incredible amount of self-restraint, and yet you call that cowardice. Maybe you're just foolish. Maybe you're a foolish little man. Maybe you are offensive. Maybe you use fear and intimidation to control people. Maybe you backhand small children. Maybe you call women that you don't know, women that would not give you the time of day or throw water on you if you were on fire. Maybe somehow you feel like because you've got a little tiny thing dangling down there that you can hurl expletives that are so misogynistic in nature that it makes other people feel a little afraid of what you may be capable of. We saw an incredible, for you virtue signalers that you've said, no, he's an alpha male. Christopher Proudfoot is an alpha male, and all he is doing is trying to protect his family. That is it. He's a great guy. This man, Christopher Proudfoot, is a great man. And you all are too foolish to recognize his greatness. Well, help me remember this. Did he get like this when Sebastian went missing? Was he hurling expletives at the kidnappers? Was he calling the kidnappers CUNTs and DICKSs? No, actually, he didn't. He was making jokes. Fun fact. I made breakfast this morning. Fun fact. That is dramatically different than why would they put this information out? It's just vile. It's just vile. Fun fact, I made breakfast. What? Why so much passion and anger for this? but not passion and anger for one potentially dead little kid. That is something that is incredibly interesting to ponder. Now, there is a Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agent. His name is Robert Simmons. Bobby Simmons is his name. Bobby seems to have been at the house when Christopher Proudfoot did this phone call. Bobby may be the agent, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agent, who is giving Proudfoot this level of entitlement and hubris. He says, I got the cops in my pocket. This is as horrifying of a situation as I've seen, short of actually seeing a murdered kid. He claims, oh yeah, I got in touch with Seth's PR person. That's not happening. In this teenagery, childish, mocking kind of, I'm so powerful and you're just roly-poly, tone. That's not happening. Oh yeah. And the dog trainers that Seth wanted, that's not happening either. I mean, you're going to hear this, okay? I'm not making this up. He claims, oh, well, we're not having the dogs and we're not doing I'm not communicating with the PR guy because of me. I'm not the one that stopped it. He kind of gives you the impression that maybe TBI stopped it. Maybe the local police, Sumner County, perhaps they stopped it. And all of that is simply not true. It's not real. The one dog handler who has a Belgian Malinois, and if you're a member of my channel, you've seen that video. We talked about Belgian Malinois and the fact that they are special forces officers. These are the dogs that go jumping into burning buildings to rescue people. Probably wouldn't rescue Christopher Proudfoot, but they'd probably rescue Sebastian and Seth and Trisha and Chloe, right? The one who has the Belgian Malinois, she's a military officer. Her job in the military was handling the dogs. Her dogs are military trained dogs. It's so laughable that this little Lord Farquaad man is thinking that all he has to do is get online and speak with authority and everybody's just going to fall in line. But he's not dealing in reality at all. The young woman that has the Belgian Malinois, she has a security clearance. And all of her certifications, her military service, her clearance, the security clearances by the United States military, all of that was sent to TBI and they approved this. They couldn't find one thing wrong with it. And you know how I know this? Because I talked to her. And if you don't believe me, go on Allegedly with Brittany J and listen to it. This woman was weeping because they had spent an incredible amount of their own money. They made the trip there to Tennessee to help find this missing kid. And idiot Christopher Proudfoot says, oh, well, you cannot search on my property in my house, and you cannot search the property of my family members. But he's going to tell you in this video, this phone call, that the dog search is not going to happen because, Seth called it off or the police called it off. All of that is a bald-faced lie, you guys. please go to Allegedly with Brittany J and watch the video. It's all there. The woman was wonderful. Wonderful. She even put her dogs on camera. It was a great conversation. The next night, which was last night, the woman who has 4, not 1, not 2, 4 bloodhounds. And by the way, little boy, little tiny little boy, let me really make this easy for you. Your silly little comment, oh, well, dogs are only accurate 25% of the time. Not these dogs. These are your special forces dogs. These are your military and police trained dogs. These 2 women have the real deal. In fact, the one that has the 4 bloodhounds, she and her husband, who is military, they actually charter their own airplane to transport their bloodhounds around the country when someone wants them to help them find someone. This little caricature of a man, this little clown-like figure that's running about calling people names and speaking in such a shockingly sociopathic way is bald-faced lying to the world. Now, thankfully, there's only a handful of people that have been sucked into the madness, and they're saying, oh, he's just an alpha male. He's a great guy. Oh, Christopher's such a good guy. Okay, I'm going to just challenge these channels, the virtue signalers. Can we take a step back here, please? Just a little, not even a big giant step back, a little small baby step back. Take a little baby step back. Clear your conscience, because nothing is about being right or wrong at all. The goal is, I want to see life in an accurate and authentic way. That's it. And this isn't about you're one creator and you hate another creator. You don't like this X mod. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a little kid, a real life. You guys always want to say, oh, the victims' families, they're real live people with real live emotions. I know. You guys didn't stumble upon some valuable fact that the rest of the world doesn't know. We know. We understand that. But you are completely erasing reality that's sitting right in front of you. You are being confronted with the real Chrissy Pissy. And I apologize for my language. You guys are here. You know, this is not typical for me. I am making a point here. I'm making a point. I'm going to be quiet now that you're all shocked and offended at my language. How dare she call the victim of a crime Chrissy Pissy? A victim? Yeah, sure. What facts can you provide that would support the notion that you believe Christopher Proudfoot is a victim? Because all I can see are red flags going off like crazy. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agent Bobby Simmons is running around in front of the camera, holding up a blanket, trying to shield Christopher Proudfoot from any nonsense that he stirs up. What can you do? Well, what did we do with Suzanne Morphew? When the judges seemed like things were not working out well, when the prosecutors seemed like they were struggling, people called the state. They demanded justice for Suzanne. They asked the state, step in, look at these bozos in Salida. Make some phone calls. Ask some questions. Is this normal? Is it normal to have a 15-year-old boy go missing and your investigators don't investigate? Is that normal? Are we going to luminol the Proudfoot home? Are we going to make that, perhaps do that? Anything. Because when it was just one missing autistic kid, there were smiles, there were little jokes. They kind of diminished Sebastian, kind of objectified him. Oh, he doesn't have any friends. He likes to pee in his pants. Well, you know what you like to do, Christopher Proudfoot? You like to step off in it, a dinosaur pile of it. That's what you seem to like, because either you are decompensating and unraveling quickly, or you legitimately think that you broke the internet. That you are now legitimately doing things that are ostentatious and offensive because you think somehow that you are now internet famous. Charlie Manson is famous. Ted Bundy, he's famous too. And now we're going to add Katie and Christopher Proudfoot. Make them internet famous too, right? You didn't get upset when it was a little boy missing. You didn't seem to give a damn about that at all. In fact, Gray Hughes told us that Katie was so terrified of the YouTubers and TikTokers. She was so afraid and frightened that even though her child was out there missing, she got in a camper and went nearly 4 hours away because she was in fear of her life from YouTube creators. My goodness. But let people start talking about Katie's mom and others. And now you guys are awake. Now you guys are offended. Now you guys are really scared. Why? Wasn't it enough that Sebastian is missing and possibly deceased? Wasn't that enough to get freaked out about? Wasn't that enough to get upset about? When Cajun Navy is leaving town, when the cops are calling off the search, where's all of this passion and anger, Christopher? Where is it? If I seem angry, I am. I'm angry because you spoke to people on the internet in a way that is unacceptable. It is shockingly abusive. The way that you talked about Trisha on Web Sleuths, the threats of bodily harm that you made against Chloe, and the fact that the other PI that you were talking to, the fact that she was fawning over you. She was literally trying to show submission to you. She was acting out being the good child. Oh, I know. Almost all of these web sleuths, well, they're all just batshit, blah, 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 blah. What? Batshit what? Finish that. Do you know the man that you were talking to is literally threatening a woman, a private investigator, literally threatening her with physical harm? He also threatened Seth. He says that he was going to make it so that Seth would not be able to talk anymore. Sure does sound like dead to me, Christopher. What is wrong with you? You got a little bit of support from those nonsensical channels. Who is an alpha male? No, hell no. You are not an alpha male. You are a weak, frightened little boy who learned probably from your parents that violence and aggression will scare people and they will back down. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you are frightened and small-minded. You have no respect for humanity in general. You know, it's not even you that is having a problem with the information about Katie's family. It's not even you. It's about Katie. Let Katie talk. Let Katie talk about how it affects her that information is out there. How that information has, or supposedly has, nothing at all to do with the disappearance of Sebastian. Can I just say something? Christopher, you say that with authority. You say, why does Katie's mom, dad, and brother and sister, why do they have anything to do with Sebastian missing? It has nothing to do with what happened to Sebastian. Are you sure? How do you know? I mean, you really talk like you know. You really, really, really talk like you know what happened to Sebastian. And that you've actually said that all of these theories that others are putting out there, the people that are considering different possibilities, what could happen, you've actually called them stupid. That we don't know anything about what we're talking about. Some of us may know what we're talking about. You might try to remember that too. Otherwise, you just come off looking foolish and silly and offensive. But some of us know what we're talking about. Do you know what happened to Sebastian? Can you make that case? Can you bring those receipts that the fact that in Katie's family there are abusers? That's the kind of thing that police officers typically look for if there's a missing child. Are there any abusers in the neighborhood? Are there any abusers within the family? The best predictor of future behavior is past performance. So they do look at those kinds of things. They also look at things like, is there anybody that would want to hurt you, Katie? Have you made any enemies that they may think that the best way to hurt you would be to go after your child? You know what, Chris? I'm not going to ask you if you've made any enemies. Just going to save that breath. All right? Just going to save that breath because we all know the answer to that. So I'm curious how you can be so certain that what happened to Sebastian, whatever he experienced, whatever he lived through or died, that it had nothing to do with Katie, her history, people that she knows, people she could have crossed paths with in her life. You talk like you know the truth about that. Prove it. Prove it that all of these people, these sleuthers, all of these private investigators, prove it. You say they don't, all of their ideas are foolish and stupid and dumb. It has nothing to do with what happened to Sebastian. Prove it. You know what happened to Sebastian, don't you? You talk like you know. And you didn't get freaked out and aggressive when this 15-year-old kid went missing. You were perfectly fine then. Oh, he's going to have so many friends when he comes back. Oh, that was such a good thought. I love that Sebastian's going to have friends when he comes back. And you're all going to owe us an apology. I mean, what do you want us to call you? You want us to call you Christopher and Katie, or you want us to call you Letitia Stout? Because she said exactly the same words. Exactly. That did not age well.
And it should sound pretty good. I'm going to run it through my board, but I want people to understand and realize that it's upsetting the way that he speaks. I think that it kind of gives I don't know, a good idea of who he is.
Me too.
And
This right
anyway,
here,
I'm just going to
this
start
is
playing
what
it.
an alpha male looks
And as
like.
people come in, they can.
This is
But
a
I want to make sure that
adult.
the audio is good. So
Right here is
let's
an
see what
adult.
listen here.
Which statement?
Releasing Katie's parents' personal information and showing Katie's past. Said she has it, but she wasn't going to release it. It caused a fucking shitstorm. And now everybody went out there and got.
Okay, also, I just need to do this, okay? I'm going to give a trigger warning. I want you to imagine, as a part of this trigger warning, I want you to imagine the worst possible words that a person could use. All right? Imagine the most filthy language and then triple it, and then you'll understand what it is that you're about to hear. Okay? It's a unnecessary level of threat, offensiveness, unimaginable entitlement. This guy, if Bobby Simmons was not protecting him, there'd be a huge investigation happening at that house. I believe that in my heart and soul. But hey, I got friends in low places. Isn't that right, Christopher? Your friends helping you out, Christopher? And the lab did such an amazing job with this audio. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please go over, like and subscribe. Please subscribe to his channel. Please, please, please. This was he did. You couldn't hear hardly anything on this phone call. I tried to listen to it on another channel. You couldn't hear anything. Oh, and you know what this guy, you know what Josh did? The guy on the lab, he actually got this recording like 5-6 days ago. This phone call happened that night after the Web Sleuths interview where Chris gag, he said, "Oh, I broke the internet." No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're so sad and silly. What broke the internet was people's love for Sebastian and Seth and concern. And when they found out that Trisha and the two PIs were going to be talking with you, people are hungry for information because they want a happy ending. They are hungry to know that Sebastian is in fact being taken care of and cared for by someone who loves him. Doesn't have anything to do with you, Chris. You did not break the internet. No one likes you, Chris.
Got it and released it.
How does it sound? How's the sound on that? All right.
She didn't say the name. She just insinuated she had the information.
I mean, we do have the information, but
Yeah, and let me tell you what the fuck it started. Now all that information is out in the fucking open.
That's a
And
lie.
somebody better fucking explain to me very goddamn quickly.
That's a lie.
Preferably her.
I have,
How
yeah,
the fuck that had any goddamn thing to
I
fucking
have
do with this
no
case.
idea.
Yeah, because I'm gonna
Because
tell
I
you
don't know what was
that
said.
bitch better find a way to stop it.
Where's
Okay, now this ridiculous little man, like you better find a way to stop it. That bitch better find a way. I don't know how she better stop it. Okay, shut up, Chris. people listening to this, we're not quaking in our boot, little Chris. Okay. We're listening to you. Well, most of us laughed. Like when I first heard this, I started chuckling. My husband, who is actually like a real alpha male, my husband was like, said, "What are you listening to now?" And I said, "That's Christopher Proudfoot." He said, "Oh, you're kidding." I said, "No, listen." And he is guffawing, like he is laughing his ass off at you, Christopher. He's laughing so hard. He said, "This is the kind of man that beats up on women and little kids." Can't stand toe to toe, though, can you? Stop the nonsense, Christopher. Stop. This is nonsensical. The idea that this young woman goes on and says, and you're willingly a part of the conversation, I might add, you're willingly on Web Sleuths, where Trisha and the others really went way beyond trying to be respectful of you. And I don't mind saying, I was saying, Trisha, please stop groveling. Please stop. I know why she did it. She didn't do it out of real respect for Christopher Proudfoot. She did it out of love and concern for Sebastian. That's why she did it. The same with the PIs. They just want to find Sebastian and nothing else matters. And so if that means building little man Christopher up, if that means letting him feel like, oh, I got a little stiffy on, that makes me a man. If by letting him be misogynistic and pretending like, oh, look at me, I'm Rambo and Sylvester Stallone, and I'm going to whip these little ladies into shape. If that means letting him play out this very sad little delusion, then she's willing to do that. And that makes her a great person. Same thing with the PIs. To be able to take a deep breath, to control their own instincts, all for the idea of nothing matters more than Sebastian. That's why they did it, Chris, not because you scared anybody. You're just like this little angry chihuahua, Christopher Proudfoot. You're like this little angry chihuahua that, people put their hand down close and he goes, rah, 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 shows his teeth. And then everybody in the room laughs, Chris. When the little chihuahua gets mad and attacks and growls, everybody just stands back and chuckles and laughs. If a pit bull, a Belgian Malinois, if they growl, if they come at you, ain't nobody laughing. You're just like, nope, don't want to make that one upset because that one really bites. You're just ridiculous. Oh, look, little Chihuahua is back at it again, gnashing his teeth, drooling and slobbering, trying to threaten everybody, scare everybody. Oh, they're quaking in their boots, Christopher. If Bobby's not around, how tough are you, big guy?
Where's it at?
Fucking nothing. It's everywhere. All over the fucking internet that people have released on these stupid ass shows and all these fucking Facebook things.
Okay.
It was never out there until that bitch opened her fucking mouth.
Ooh, you're
okay,
so
well,
tough.
I haven't been looking at it today or really yesterday.
Or at all.
So I don't know what's out there.
I'm telling you, I'm being very polite as I can possibly
Oh,
be.
no, you're not. You're a little 5-year-old. Oh, you know where he got that from, right? Right? He's pretending to be like Dirty Harry, right? Oh, if you don't fix that, then I'm not going to be as pleasant as I am. Oh, shut up. Just quit. You're just so ridiculous. It's not even funny how silly and absurd you are, Christopher. You're just a little tiny excuse for a man. Just stop. It's reached a point that, it's sort of embarrassing for you, not for me. I wanted to hold on just one second. We're going to take a little break from the gnashing, snarling, angry man. Y'all want to take a break? Y'all go get you a fresh Diet Coke and just take a second while I pull this up. Hold on. We're going to have fun. We're having fun now. Are you ready, Christopher? Ready to have some fun, Christopher? Oh, we should have done this in person. What? Who talks to a woman like that they don't know? You're so ridiculous. Okay, share screen. Here we go. Now, before the phone call was made, Mr. Christopher was practicing how he was going to talk in the phone call to the PI. So here is Christopher and Katie practicing before the angry phone call. You made me mad. I'm going to come for you now. There's Christopher. Look at him go. Oh, yeah, he's a badass. Look at him. Did Rick know him very well? Oh, yeah, get him. Slap him. Teach him his boss, kitty. Boy, I whipped him into shape pretty fast, didn't it? Oh, I know, Chris. Makes you feel better to be tough. You get a little ice cream. Look at him. He's so cute. Oh,
Talk to me.
aren't you sweet, Christopher? Look at the mother over there laughing. She's going, oh, look at my sweet baby. He's so angry. There he is with Katie. You made me mad, Katie. I'm going to get you. Oh, my God. That is... And all Katie has to do is pet him, and then he calms down. Go, Chris, go.
Carlos, be nice.
Take control of that bad adult dog.
He's not going to take it.
All right. I'm point made,
I'm not
right?
talking about.
You see him run around, he's barking at these like true dogs that could actually eat him in one bite. There's Christopher for you. Christopher's used to screaming and yelling and threatening. But people around him just laugh when he starts acting like a little guinea pig. He's going, get out of my bed. Chris says, it's my bed. Get away. I'll yell at you if you try to get in my bed. It's my bed. I belong in my bed, not you. I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to growl at you. I'm going to gnash my teeth at you. Okay. All right, let's put the real recording on. I've made my point. Rob bullies of their energy. Take your power back away from them. Don't let people talk down to you the way this man talked down to these women. Don't let that happen.
All right. Well, I'll talk
And
to
don't
her.
care
I
how
mean,
she
are
fucking
you?
takes that?
Are-
I don't care how she takes it. I really don't give a goddamn what I have to fucking do. But I can promise you, there's a difference in helping find Sebastian and just being a stupid fucking cunt.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something. Just
All right. So, question, everyone in the channel. Would you say that a man that speaks to a woman who is not related to him at all, would you say this man is having trouble with boundaries? Would you say that he lacks emotional maturity? Would you say that he's an abusive asshole? That speaking to a woman or a man in that manner, someone that he doesn't even really know, someone that's not even in his life by choice or family, would you say that he is just like a weak man, or would you call this an alpha male? If you think that the way that he just spoke to her, if you say that this is an example of an alpha male, the way an alpha male would speak, let's listen to that again.
And just being a stupid fucking cunt.
Okay, well, let me ask you.
Would you say that that is the words and the behavior and the demeanor of an alpha male? Or would you say those are the words and the demeanor of a weak, ineffective person who is frustrated? If you think it's an alpha male, put a 1. If you think it's a weak man who doesn't know what to do, put a 2. Let's see where we are on this. Yeah, Alessia, really offensive, right? Like one of the worst words that you can use in terms of, misogyny. Yeah. All right. Here's a 2. That's weak. A weak man who does not know what to do. It's the Napoleonic complex. Thank you so much. You're exactly right. The little man who's trying to compensate for little things, right? I'd have to say an egotistical psychopathic narcissist. Welcome to the conversation, my friend. Okay. That would definitely be a 2. Okay. He's a petulant child. So I'm going to agree with you. That's the feeling that I get. Hey, One Love, welcome. Hey, HDC. Yeah, when I listen to this, I hear a little kid having a temper tantrum. And people that are in control, people that have a plan and they know what the goal is, they don't have temper tantrums. Temper tantrums come when your available coping resources have been overwhelmed by the demands of the environment. So I don't know what his problem is. Let me say this too. If you go back to Trisha's channel, Web Sleuths, and you watch the interview again, they say you will easily discern where she says, I have the information about Katie when she was 19. There's also some information when she was like 5. Okay. But I have some information when she was 19, but we decided not to release it because it doesn't really reflect on Sebastian. Well, if Sebastian was alive, maybe it reflects. And I'm not sure what the ages are, the years involved, right? So I'm not sure. You knew who CP reminds me of, Drew Peterson mixed with Barry Morphew. Oh yeah, Drew Peterson definitely popped front and foremost when I was listening to this. Absolutely. So no, the talking to people this way, you are demonstrating that you are out of control. You have lost sight of the goal. You don't know what it is you're working toward, and you have no idea how to manage the problem. That's what this is. So keep that in mind as you listen to this. I've heard other people listen to that, screen this on their, like in a live stream. They're listening to it and they're going, oh my God. Like kind of like he was scary and frightening. And, he does definitely sound unhinged, no question. But if you dig past all the blubbering mouth, if you dig past all of the immature name calling and such, if you get past all that, you start looking at motivation. It's always about the motivation. Okay, that's not front and foremost. What is the motivation here? Not necessarily what they did, not necessarily what they actually achieved. What was the motivation? What were they trying to achieve? There's your instruction. That's the real meat of the information. I don't think there was. I think his motivation was, I just feel like being mean. I think that's it in a nutshell. He just feels like being mean. He's mad. If you go back to Web Sleuths, you watch that interview that original night, you will see where Chloe says to him, we have this information, but we're not going to release it. She says it. And he says, which information? And that I thought was incredibly interesting. And since then, we have in fact learned, Christopher, what the other information was that you were concerned about. But he says, which information? And then he goes, when she was 19? And Chloe says, yes. And he's cool as a cucumber, you guys. He's calm. He's not having a problem. He goes through a whole process with the investigators and Trisha. He's not freaking out, losing his mind. But later on, after the live ended, after there was a little bit of time, something triggered him and he was nutso. And that's when he called this private investigator and started all this foolishness. So the fact that he's trying to act like this is against Chloe because Chloe said on Trisha's live, I have the information when Katie was 19, but I'm not going to put it out there. He holds her responsible that other people went and found that information. This is all a lie. He's lying. If it had been a big deal then, he would have reacted. He did not react. He didn't care. In fact, he seemed almost a little relieved that it was the event that happened in 2019 rather than what year, Chris? What was it? It's out there. It's going to come to light.
Something just for a second. Like, are you sure it was her and not like one of these sleuthers or something? Because
No,
other
it's
people
her on the fucking show. It is her.
Okay,
Chris,
because
you're
there's
a
other
liar.
people
I think
that
it's
are
on
digging.
Web Slut.
Yeah.
Or Sleuth, whatever the fuck that woman's name is.
Web sleuths.
Okay. He's talking about Trisha on Web Sleuths. That's his little funny, haha, isn't this a good joke? He calls it Web Sluts multiple times, not just on this, but also in comments under other people's videos and in other live streams. So most of us are big fans of Trisha and Web Sleuths. How do you feel about that? Is that still your alpha male? Someone like Trisha, who's conducted herself with absolute professional, ethical behavior. She has absolutely set boundaries and stayed within those boundaries. He just called her a slut. How are you feeling about that? Do some soul searching, people. This is not your alpha male. This is not the sword to fall on.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
It was on that fucking show.
but I don't see. I can't see Chloe just giving out.
And here's another thought. Hold on a minute. Sorry. Listen to how he dismisses the actual name Web Sleuths. He intentionally used the slut shaming crap that misogynists love. And listen to how when she says, oh, you mean Web Sleuths? He said, yeah, whatever. Again, ladies, those of you that want to look up to this man and virtue signal and claim that he's an alpha male, listen to this. Listen to the way he's speaking about Trisha. This is real.
It was on that fucking show.
But I don't see, I can't see Chloe just giving out.
Oops, sorry.
But that fucking started. Insinuated she had the information.
I mean, we do have the information, but
Yeah, let me tell you what that fucking started. Now all that information is out in the fucking open. And somebody better fucking explain to me very goddamn quickly. Preferably her.
I had, yeah.
Oh,
Fuck
shut
that
up.
had any goddamn thing to
I
fucking
have
do with this
no
case.
idea.
Yeah, because I'm gonna
Because
tell
I
you
don't know
something.
what was
That
said.
bitch better find a way to stop it.
Where's it at?
Fucking nothing. It's everywhere. All over the fucking internet that people have released on these stupid ass shows and all these fucking Facebook things.
Okay.
It was never out there until that bitch opened her
Oh,
fucking
yes,
mouth.
it was.
Okay. Well,
Chris.
I haven't been looking at it today or really yesterday. So I don't know what's out there.
I'm
I'll have to look
telling
for it.
you, I am being very polite as I can possibly be.
No,
to
you're
her.
not. You're an
Mhm.
offensive
If
little
she don't find
child.
a fucking way to fix it, I promise her I am not going to be so goddamn pleasant when I see her.
You're not a movie
Okay.
And
star
I
in
will bring the
Hollywood.
fucking cops
Christopher.
with me.
All right. Well, I'll talk
And
to
I don't
her.
care
I
how
mean,
she
are
fucking
you?
takes that.
Are
I don't care how she takes it. I really don't give a goddamn what I have to fucking do.
Oh,
But I can promise you, there's a difference in helping find Sebastian and just being a stupid fucking cunt.
okay? Well, let me ask you something just for a second. Like, are you sure it was her and not like one of these sleuthers or something? Because
No,
other
it's
people
her on the fucking show. It
Okay.
is her.
Okay, because there's other
I think
people
it was
that are
on Web
digging.
Slut
Yeah.
or Sleuth, whatever the fuck that woman's name is.
Web sleuths.
Yeah, whatever.
Listen,
Or Sleuth, whatever the fuck that woman's name is.
Web sleuths.
Yeah, whatever.
so it sounds like a teenager.
It is her.
to you.
Okay, because there's other
I think
people
it was
that are
on
digging.
Web Slut. It is her.
Okay, because there's other
I think
people
it was
that are
on Web
digging.
Slut. It
Okay.
is her.
Okay, because there's other
I think
people
it was
that are
on Web
digging.
Slut
He thinks he's
or
smart.
Sleuth, whatever the fuck that woman's name is.
Web sleuths.
Yeah, whatever.
That's preteen kind of mess. That's the kind of thing that the bullies in 8th grade did and said. Why are you guys building this clown up? He is ridiculous.
I mean,
It was on that fucking show.
but I don't see. I can't see Chloe just giving out that information though.
She did, you're missing my statement. I
Okay.
didn't say she gave the information out. I said she made a statement that she had it and wouldn't fucking release it. That right there was a trigger to start this fucking shitstorm.
Okay, Christopher, shut up. That is so absurd that you are threatening her with bodily harm if she doesn't get everything on the internet that talked about Katie's mother and that she has to single-handedly get everybody to take it down off of their page or their website or their video. That you're just silly. Okay, she didn't give the information, but other people have. The information has already been out, Christopher. It was out before you went on Web Sleuths and made a complete ass out of yourself. Everyone knows the information, Christopher. No one is really talking about it for obvious reasons, but you can be assured that many of us have turned it into the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. However, Bobby Simmons, it seems to be a real problem for the integrity of this investigation. And so some of the FBI agents have friends, family members. sometimes they say, you know, do you know an agent named, they are really doing some weird things with this. So you can bluster and yell and carry on and act silly and be offensive, verbally assault women that would not ever give you even the time of day, that they are invested in this because they care about Sebastian. You can do all of this foolishness if you want to, but the reality is this had nothing to do with Chloe saying, we have the information, but we're not going to release it, because you yourself said, oh, you mean when she was 19? You didn't care, Christopher. You didn't mind. It was on camera. It was on the recording. Everyone can go to Trisha's channel right now today and look at it. You don't care that Chloe has said this. It is absolutely as clear as it could possibly be. So the question that I have is, you know, why are you screaming and yelling about it now? And again, Josh and other YouTubers got this recording like 4 or 5 days ago. Because they have boundaries and because they are ethical, moral people, they said, hey, the hearing for the little girl, for Christopher Proudfoot's little girl, the custody hearing was actually yesterday. Or the day before yesterday. And they said, we're not going to release this until after the custody hearing because I wouldn't want to affect what's best for the little girl. Right? They all held it in. They all kept it silent until after the hearing was completed. Then they released the recording. They're better people than you, Christopher. That's the kind of behavior. Those are the types of decisions that alpha males make. They can override their own excitement, their own, wish to build their channel or whatever. They override that in terms of what is good for humanity. And for Faith, for the judge to make the proper decision with a little girl's life and safety, in my opinion, they didn't want to put anything out there that might detract from that. So why don't you show some respect to these people that were trying to honor your daughter? And I don't know what it was that got you so upset in just a few hours' time from the end of Web Sleuths to when you made this ridiculous verbal assault on this private investigator. I don't know what in the world it was, but you have really shown that you should absolutely be under direct investigation, in my opinion. I hope the FBI picks this thing up. I hope it's taken out of the hands of Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Sumner County. I hope it goes full-blown FBI. Taking your camper. They haven't searched the camper, y'all. We have no idea if Sebastian was placed in that camper, and when they left and went across state lines, that's where they got rid of Sebastian's body. We have no idea if that's true or not. None. But if they did transport that boy, living or dead, across the state line, that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
When she shouldn't have opened her fucking mouth in the beginning.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of fucking PI or whatever the fuck she thinks she is or how she does this. But if she needs a fucking education and schooling on being a PI, I guarantee you I'll find somebody who is truly a PI and let.
Yeah. What do? Break knees, Christopher? Your PI, the kind of PI that breaks knees and collects safety money from the mob? Is that who you are? You have no right to walk around like some kind of rooster cock of the walk and act like, oh, I'm so much smarter than the whole world. I know more than anybody else knows. And this woman doesn't know how to be a private detective. And so I'm going to school her. You are nothing. You run a crane. That's it. You run a crane and then you get online and you run your mouth. You are harassing people and you are using verbal assault against others. You have no reason or right to speak to another human being the way that you've done here. And it had here again, it's not like Chloe did anything egregious. She did nothing. She did nothing. You asked her, oh, which information is it? Which information, Chloe, are you not going to release? She said, oh, when she was 19. He said, oh, yeah, when she was 19. You didn't get all butthurt. You didn't start growling and gnashing your teeth like a little chihuahua. So what happened between the end of that show and the moment you made this phone call? What happened? I know what happened. Everybody went live and started laughing at your dumbass.
Then school the fuck out of this woman.
All right. Well, let me try to figure it out because I know neither her or I have given out any of Katie's information.
It's not giving it out.
Yeah.
All you have to do is start one sentence. I have the information. I'm not going to release it.
Yeah.
They already knew.
She started a shitstorm.
Everybody already
She
knew
better
about
figure
the
out how to
court
fucking
case.
fix it.
You know, something else I'll tell you, there was
Everybody
a woman
knew?
that reached out to me that
Everybody knew about the court case before you were ever on Web Sleeves. They knew about the court case. They knew about the appeals process. We know. Who do you think you're talking to? This isn't the knitting community, Christopher. This isn't about Katie's mother. So what is it really about? People laughed at you, and then you had to show, don't make fun of me. Don't laugh at me. Let me show you how mean and tough I am. I can hurt other people. Then you won't laugh anymore. Well, sorry, Christopher, but everybody's laughing harder now. Now we're laughing, cry laughing because you're so ridiculous.
Before I had ever even, before I ever knew anything about Katie's family or past or whatever, there was like this random woman, like Sleuther, that reached out to me with like some of Katie's family's names and whatever. Like, I will say.
Now you're listening to a conversation between Chris Proudfoot and a PI that was working on the case.
Yeah, the good old boy.
Who I believe is no longer
Olivia?
working on the
Who's your daddy?
Talking about the PI Chloe that showed up on Web Sleuth's show. So this is Chris Proudfoot, and this was sent to me a couple of days ago. I sat on it. I was waiting for today. I planned on releasing it today, and so why not just do it? I don't know what happened in court. No. But let me see. Yeah. But it was distributed to me anonymously, asked if I would hold off, and I absolutely will and did.
She was wrong about, she was talking about Penny Payne, and she thought there's a Penny Payne that runs like some sort of
Penny Irene Payne or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know any of Katie's information.
It's not giving it out.
Yeah.
All you have to do is start one sentence. I have the information.
Again,
I'm not going to release it.
Right?
Yeah.
She started a shitstorm.
Actually,
she better figure out how to fucking fix it.
Something else I'll tell you. There was a woman that reached out to me that before I had ever even, before I ever knew anything about Katie's family or past or whatever, there was like this random woman, like Sleuther, that reached out to me with like some of Katie's family's names and whatever. Like, I will say that she was wrong about she was talking about Penny Payne, and she thought there's a Penny Payne that runs like a
Penny Payne is
some sort of
Penny Irene Payne or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some medical place or something.
Yeah, it was the
Like
wrong Penny Payne, but she had the right names.
She has the right names. Just like
Just the wrong people.
Katie Lynn Payne.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Who
not the wrong
supposedly
people.
murdered a 4-year-old.
Wrong
Right,
people.
exactly. And that's the problem with a lot of the sleuthers is that they get a name and then they find somebody with that name and they run with it.
Oh, is that right? Now she's
Mhm.
going
That-
in an effort to buddy up with, this little cock of the walk. She's now going to say that web sleuthers, people in the true crime community, that we're all batshit crazy. That we don't know what we're doing, but she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Hey, come in. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, I got sidetracked. My husband came in and said hello. So sorry about that. Okay, let's keep listening.
Happens a
the
lot.
worst part, and that's fine. That's understandable. Personally, I think everybody fucking sucks looking for shit.
Yeah.
Ain't even worth the fucking bacteria of the foam that forms on the fucking worst form of bacteria.
Now, this behavior here, it struck me as a bit psychopathic. It's a little hard to hear. I mean, it's definitely antisocial, right? There's a lot of sociopathy in a comment like this, and it's kind of chilling. Remember, he's talking about people he doesn't know, people that are not in his real life. Okay, he is directly being misogynistic toward a woman. He's using verbal and sexual assault and harassment tactics. And in this very bizarre moment, he starts talking about how web sleuths, online investigators, true crime community, that we are bacteria, or we're not worth the bacteria in our spit that gets on our phone. Now, let me ask y'all this. That mental imagery, that messaging, does that seem healthy? Does that seem like normal thoughts? Most people don't have that thought of such what is the word? I don't know what I would call it. Obscenity, right? It's a level of obscenity that most people don't think in those terms. Have you ever been so angry at another person that your need to diminish them and rob them of any type of worth is so strong that you turn them into bacteria? If that's a chilling thought to you, put a 1. If you don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, put a 2. I mean, it's an obscenity. It's like it appears to me that I am more concerned about Sebastian than Chris is. That ought to be impossible. Agreed. Absolutely. Yeah. Tina says definitely an obscenity. Yeah, it's an abomination, isn't it? That humanity, that we are made perfect in the eyes of God, correct? That we are made in God's image, that our body is a temple, that we're valuable, that we have dominion over the land and the animals, correct? To hate someone so completely that you need to diminish them and rob them of any vestiges of humanity at all, any value or worth at all, that you would somehow make the connection in your mind You are a bacteria. You're an amoeba on a bacteria. That's actually quite chilling. That would be a huge red flag for a normal investigator, for a psychiatric evaluator. And yet, Bobby Simmons seems to think that Chris is a great guy. I'm getting the feeling that maybe Bobby, if he approves of this, is he a great guy? Or does he do the same kind of things as what we're hearing from Christopher?
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot.
The worst part, and that's fine. That's understandable. Personally, I think everybody fucking starts looking for shit.
Yeah.
Ain't even worth the fucking bacteria of the foam that forms on the fucking worst form of bacteria on Earth. That's what I truly feel.
Yeah, I feel you. I hear you.
You are Christopher Proudfoot. You need some help. I'm not saying that. Some of the things I've said have been sort of, to reflect back to you that all of this pumping your fist and beating on your chest and trying to instill fear and intimidation in other people, reducing Seth, making fun of him. I've made jokes to try to show you really don't have any power. You're like the wicked witch of the East, and somebody's going to drop a house on you, and we're going to laugh when they drop that house on you, Christopher. But the truth is, right now, this one little part of what you said, I'm not joking. Please get yourself some help. This level of anger is so unhealthy for you. Well, and it could end up, with a kid getting killed.
Yeah. I can feel it through the phone.
Oh, trust me. Chloe's lucky I'm not standing in fucking front of her.
Jackass.
Like I said, I will bring the fucking cops when I see her.
Oh, would that be Bobby?
Okay.
Are you going to bring Bobby?
And it was more my protection than hers. Because right now, you can inform her. She fucking calls me, says my fucking name, anything of that fucking nature involving Katie or me or anybody else, I'm going to slap the shit out of her with the same fucking thing I told you.
Well, what do you think of that? Now, little man Christopher is going to slap the shit out of a woman that really has no connection to him. What do you think? Is that an alpha male? Is that an alpha male? Is that a good guy who's just protecting his family? You virtue signalers, this is going to be a fun weekend. I can't wait to sit back and watch all of your videos and see how you manage this one. Because if you try at all to say that this is just normal, he's just been pushed to his breaking point. That poor man who is 5'1" and has a size 14 shoe. Okay. Christopher, you big dumbass. Here's the truth, okay? A size 14 shoe is what my son wears. He's 6'5". Little people like you, Christopher, they don't have size 14 shoes because if your feet were that big, you would look like Bozo the Clown. You're too little and short to have that size of a foot. It would look strange. You would look like when you would walk through the mall, everybody in the mall would stop and turn around and look at you and say, "Oh my goodness, look at how large that man's feet are. What's wrong with him? Maybe maybe he's got a genetic problem. You don't have size 14 shoe. Size 14 shoes are kind of hard to find. That's what NBA players wear. You're silly, Christopher. You're a big old fat, huge liar who uses words to try to build yourself up so nobody will talk about the reality of how small and inconsequential you actually are. No one's scared of you, Christopher. No one. And don't mistake Seth's self-control with weakness or fear. Don't do that. You may end up real surprised one day.
I'll cease and desist letter and then let her open her fucking mouth one more time. And then I've got her dead to fucking rights.
I think that's
Dead to fucking rights? I'm sorry, is that actually what he said? Dead to rights? I'm gonna have to give some thought on that. Let's see. Dead to rights is an idiom that means in the act of doing something wrong or illegal, or having enough evidence to prove someone's guilt. It originated in the mid 19th century and was related to criminal activity. Oh, and it's spelled dead to right, meaning R-I-T-E. It's mostly used like in the equivalency in the US of bang to rights. You're just dumb, Christopher. You're telling us that if Chloe speaks, she's guilty of what? What's she guilty of? Remember, dead to rights is an idiom that means in the act of doing something wrong or illegal, having enough evidence to prove someone's guilt. You just said if she speaks, then you got her, quote unquote, dead to rights. Guilty of what, idiot? Speaking? She can speak. You can't control what people say. For example, Katie's mother is an RSO, registered sex offender. She is in prison. She lost her appeal, Christopher. What did I say that's wrong? What did I say? You got me dead to rights now. What did I say? I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't say something that was a lie or that was private information. That information is a matter of public record. You can actually pull the court documents and read all about it. And you can do a FOIA request like some of us have and get the court information and the investigation information from that case. And everybody knew about it, Christopher, before you went on, the word is web sleuths. It's not a secret. And your threats and your anger, gnashing your teeth, you can't threaten Chloe. I got her dead to rights. And she talks about it. She can talk about it. In this country, legal convictions and such are a matter of public record. Anyone can get their hands on it, Christopher. Anyone. You were so out of line in this situation, so out of line. And all of this bizarre talk about bacteria and foam, and it's very frightening that something is going wrong. You need to go to a doctor. There's a different way to live that you won't be so affected. Kathy says, my son wears a 15.5-inch shoe and is 6'8". There you go. Absolutely true. I mean, one day, Kathy, I'm going to get my son's shoe and show it on a live so we can all laugh. But you don't have to see it because you can look at your son's shoe and you know what I mean. It defies logic, doesn't it? The size of the shoes that are like 14, 15, size 16. My uncle played basketball, college basketball, and he actually wore a 17 shoe. And when you see them, you just laugh because it's like, what? I can put both my feet in there and both my hands. It's pretty funny to see the size of them. So imagining a regular sized man who would wear like a size 10 shoe, imagining that normal height guy with a size 14, 15 size shoe is just laughable. It's like funny. It's like you would be wearing snow boots, right? It's just not not snow boots. What is it when they walk in the snow? Oh well, I can't remember. Yeah, it's funny. So no, you don't wear a size 14. That's silly. Your height is one you probably wear a 9 or 10 would probably be the guess.
I'm trying to be as civil as possible.
Isn't that the only interview she's even done? I don't think she's.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I don't care. She's not my PI. She's not.
Yeah.
Bitch don't fucking mean a goddamn thing to me.
He called someone else a bitch.
She was on fire. I wouldn't piss on her to put her out.
Mm.
And let me reassure you there.
I mean, it's not like
if you were on fire, there's literally not a single person that would even pour a bottle of water on you. All those people you claim you broke the internet on Web Sleuths, they're not there for you. They're there for Sebastian. And if you are on fire, please don't look for anyone in the true crime community to pour a bottle of water on you, please. Because it's after the way that you have talked to Trisha, Chloe, the true crime community in general, the way you spoke about Seth, the way you spoke about Sebastian, the way you treated Nina, you are a goner, man. No one is going to help you. But Seth, that man could, if he was homeless, he'd come live in my spare bedroom. I'd open my door up to that man because he acted like a man who was worried about where his child was. He controls himself. He tells the truth. You, Christopher, you're one of those people that would climb a tree to tell a lie, wouldn't you?
Or I said, Katie, it's not like Chloe because she's very private. Like I'm more public than she is. I mean, you know that.
I promise you, go back and watch that fucking video.
Yeah.
Go watch that fucking interview.
Okay. I mean, I was watching it. I know what she said, but she's usually very, very careful about what she says to the public.
She ain't fucking careful.
Yeah.
She's fucking sloppy.
So are you, Christopher. We're gonna call you sloppy.
All right. Well, let me talk to her. I don't even know. Actually, I do know.
I ain't trying to be a dick to her, but if she ain't got the fucking audacity to give me a working fucking phone number,
what?
She better not fucking.
If she doesn't have the audacity to give you a phone number, what? Okay, you know what? You need to, after you finish up at the doctor's office, you need to go to school. Just basic vocabulary 101 would be a great start because I don't know what you're talking about.
Reach out to me. And that Google shit ain't a fucking true number.
Yeah, that's the same number that Seth has, though. I will tell you.
Yeah, that's.
Christopher, you're not entitled to her phone number. She gets privacy away from psychos like you.
I'm not Seth.
Yeah.
I have the balls and the fucking spine to call people out on shit.
Yeah.
You are not, Seth. That is absolutely true. And thank God for it. Number one. And I don't know what this thing is about. I got the balls to call people out. I got the balls to go online and call Trisha a slut. I got the balls to go online and call people the see you next Tuesday word. I'm a tough, badass guy because I got the balls to be the worst version of humanity that a man could be. You are so confused, Christopher. Being offensive doesn't make you good. Being offensive doesn't mean that you are better than others. It doesn't mean you're courageous. It just means that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're smart. It just means that you're so dumb that you don't realize how awful you're being. This is a really sad little segment here when you build yourself up to tell everybody that you've got size 14 balls, like elephantitis of the balls, the scrotum that is unmatched by any other scrotum in the country. That is one impressive ball sack you got going on there, Christopher.
I'm not a fucking coward.
All you are just feet and balls.
Take it personal because she doesn't give her personal phone number out to anybody. I mean, like only, like I had it from like a previous case that we worked together, but she's very private about her personal information.
Mm.
So,
okay.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what to say. I feel bad. Like I know Chloe and I know that she's not, that's not her style. But I mean, I get it.
Maybe her head's so fucking twisted because she's too emotionally involved or personal involvement with Seth. I don't fucking know. And I'm not saying a relationship.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I got to make sure that my ears do not deceive me, Christopher. Did you really just accuse someone of having their head twisted? That is amazing. Do you think your head is twisted, Christopher?
Didn't say that.
No,
but
yeah.
whatever the fuck it is, she better goddamn fucking figure it out and redial herself the fuck back in.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, and I think I told you this before, like, she's more focused on the search side of things, that's been
And
her
why the
focus.
fuck is this bitch on fucking on these goddamn interviews?
Yeah, it's just the one that I know of, but I mean, I'm not trying to, like, I don't know.
Just one. Chloe was on the Web Sleuth interview. That's it. Just one. And everyone saw when she said when Katie was 19 and Christopher said, "Oh, okay," when she was 19. Like, okay, that's not the bad one. And it's kind of not it, Christopher.
I mean, I have to try to defend her a little bit because, I mean, I know that she's not.
No, you should be defending her a lot. You should be defending Chloe because Chloe did nothing wrong. Chloe said right there with Christopher on the show, she said, "We've had this information. We're not going to release it from when she was 19 years old." And Christopher did not have a problem with it. He only perceived a problem once the show was over and he got drunk, I guess. It's just a guess. I don't know if he was drunk, but I'm trying to figure out what would make him go from 0 to nuts in a couple hours' time. Alcohol can do that. I still haven't figured out what would make this fool decide to pretend to be Billy Bob Thornton and play the role of a murderer on a YouTube call-in show. And the two creators whose channel it was on, they just yucked it up and laughed like they thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen or heard. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, we are in the Twilight Zone. Are you guys aware that people believe that he and Katie harmed a kid? And now this guy thinks it's funny to pretend to be a murderer? This is bizarre.
Not a person that like shares personal information or private information.
She didn't have to. She insinuated she had the information. She wasn't going to release it. She started a fucking fire shitstorm.
No, she didn't. We all knew the information before web sleuth.
Yeah.
Seth can have his fucking PIs. I don't need PIs.
See, and actually,
I got the
as
whole
we're
goddamn world
speaking,
that sends me all this shit for no fucking reason.
as we're speaking, I just got a message from a web sleuther that I don't even know. I don't even know their name. They go under a pseudonym, and they're sending me a picture of Katie's mom, and I don't know how they found that out.
We all
Like, I
had
didn't tell.
it.
They're telling me
You
like I don't
found it,
know.
Miss Private Investigator. We found it.
So, like these web sleuthers, like, I mean, they are like batshit 99.9% of the time, but they're
What? They're what? 99% of the time, we're the ones that are batshit. You, right now, little miss, you are fawning with the man who is calling people cunt and bitch and bacteria. You are trying to be friends with him. You think we are batshit? Oh no. No. You might want to take a couple of days off and rethink that position. Of course, you may be one of those who think that old Chrissy Pithy is an alpha male.
they're pretty good at finding shit, and some of these people are just doing it on their own.
Yes, I know. That's one thing.
Yeah.
She opened her mouth, made the statement. She's the catalyst.
Sorry. Hold on.
Help.
All right. Well, let yeah, it was.
Are y'all getting the feeling that there's some information out there that Chris and Katie are really afraid of? Are you getting that feeling? Like maybe, like in the case of Dawn and Candace Wells, there was another missing child, wasn't there? Well, an adult, or teenager, but missing, right? That there was a history of sexual abuse of children, long history, right? And some of the victims eventually found the courage to go onto these YouTube channels, these batshit crazy YouTube channels, and tell their stories. They took back their power. It makes you wonder, what in the world are Katie and Christopher afraid of? Who are they worried about finding their power? Right now, as we sit here today, Friday, the 10th, 2024, somewhere out there are a few people that have some really troublesome information. And perhaps Christopher thinks that if he's angry and aggressive and threatening, he's going to embarrass people and humiliate people and expose people, that they will stay in the shadows and they will not find their voice. They will not come out to tell their truth. But Nina found her voice, didn't she? Nina Gomez found her voice because she was fighting for her child. She was fighting for the safety of her child. But remember, there's other wives out there. There's other people out there too. They're going to find their courage, Christopher. They're going to find their courage. And all you're doing is alienating people. All you're doing, you're attacking people left and right. You're using the most misogynistic, antisocial, psychopathic words imaginable. You are not collecting friends. And when the full amount of information finally makes its way to the sunshine, you're going to want some friends. You might want to make this a one and done. Never again to attack people like you did in this video.
Was the wrong Penny Payne, but
or me or anybody else,
well,
and it was more my protection, then that's what I truly feel.
yeah, I feel you. I hear you.
No,
Yeah, I don't
don't
think
care.
she's
Sorry.
that.
I promise you, go back and watch that fucking video
All right.
in order to put her out.
Mm.
Sorry, I
Well,
messed it up.
I mean, it's not like Kate, or I said Katie. It's not like Chloe, because she's very private. Like, I'm more public than she is. I mean, you
She
know
doesn't-
that.
I promise you, go back and watch that fucking video.
Yeah.
It was
Go watch
not
that
a big
fucking
deal.
interview.
Okay. I mean, I was watching it. I know what she said, but she's usually very, very careful about what she says to the
She
public.
ain't fucking careful.
Yeah.
She's fucking sloppy.
You're such a little boy, Christopher.
All right. Well, let me talk to her. I don't even know. Actually, I do know.
I ain't trying to be a dick to her, but if she ain't got the fucking audacity to give me a working fucking phone number,
She doesn't have to give you her
she
phone
better
number.
not fucking reach out to me. And that Google shit ain't a fucking true number.
Oh, shut up.
That's the same number that Seth has, though. I will tell you.
Yeah, that's. I'm not Seth.
Yeah.
I have the balls and the fucking
Thank
spine to call
God
people out on
you're
shit.
not Seth, you weird.
I'm
She-
not a fucking
Just don't
coward.
take it personal, because she doesn't give her personal phone number out to anybody.
Oh,
I mean,
hope
like,
she does
only,
take it personal.
you know,
I
like I
the
had
idea
it
that
from
he's
like a previous case that we worked together, but she's very private about her personal information.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what to say. I feel bad. Like,
You feel
I
bad?
know Chloe, and I know that she's not, that's not her style. But I mean, I get it.
Maybe her head's so fucking twisted because she's too emotionally involved or personal involvement with something. I don't fucking know.
Who
And
do you
I'm not
think
saying
is
a relationship.
emotional?
Yeah, no.
Didn't say that.
No,
but
yeah.
whatever the fuck it is, she better goddamn fucking figure it out and redial herself the fuck back in.
How about you redial yourself back?
I mean, I
in,
know, like,
Christopher?
and I think I told you this before, like, she's more focused on the search side of things. That's been
Then
her
why the
focus.
fuck is this bitch on fucking on these goddamn interviews?
Why are
Yeah,
you on the
it's
interviews?
just the one that I know of.
Why are you
I mean, I'm
being
not
a
trying
bitch
to
on the
like,
interviews?
I don't know. I mean, I have to try to defend her a little bit,
You
because
should
I
defend
mean, I
her
know
all the way,
that
lady.
she's not a person that like shares personal information or private information.
She didn't have to. She insinuated she had the information. She wasn't going to release it. She started a fucking fire shitstorm.
What was the purpose of making that statement, knowing full damn good and well that the
Trust me.
Yeah.
we're going to dig?
Seth can have his fucking PIs. I don't
Oh,
need PIs.
look,
See, and actually,
I got the
as
whole
we're
goddamn world
speaking,
that sends me all this shit for no fucking reason.
as we're speaking, I just got a message from a web sleuther that I don't even know. I don't even know their name. They go under a pseudonym, and they're sending me a picture of Katie's mom, and I don't know how they found that out.
we knew.
Like, I didn't tell. They're telling me like I don't know.
We knew.
So, like
It's easy to find the information,
these
Heather.
web sleuthers, like, I mean, they are like batshit
No, we're
99.9%
not
of the time, but they're
we're
pretty
not.
good at finding shit.
We are good at finding
And some of these people are just doing it on their own.
That's right.
Yes, I know. That's one thing.
Yeah.
She opened her mouth made the statement.
Everyone is going to
She's
open
the
their mouth,
catalyst to the
Christopher.
fucking storm that is now brewing.
You
Yeah.
can't beat up the whole
It
world.
doesn't take much. I could go out there, open my mouth, say one fucking word, and I could almost break the fucking internet.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go again.
Look what I did the other night when I got on that show.
Uh-huh.
When you said I wanted on the show,
Yeah.
that shit fucking almost broke the fucking internet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's
It
such a
did.
narcissist.
And that's mainly because up until that show, like you and Katie both were pretty reserved about anything that you were saying, and that was like the one time that you just kind of went berserk.
No, that's the one time I went out there and stated the fucking facts.
Yeah.
I didn't go berserk.
Well,
Did he literally just say that this was the first time that he went on a show and told the facts? So he literally just admitted to the entire world he lied. He's been lying. We know he lied to Nancy Grace. We know that. He admitted it's the only time I went up and told the truth. I'm a big old fat liar with enormous, creepy, weird feet, but a little bitty 5-foot frame. I'm a freak of nature. You're a freak of nature, Christopher. All right. So, yeah, y'all heard the part where he says, oh, the minute you said I wanted to get up on the show, I broke the internet. Well, is that delusions of grandeur? Is this grandiosity? Is this a narcissist getting narcissistic supply? You did not break the internet. Sorry, but you didn't. What broke the internet was love for Sebastian and Seth. That's the real story. Christopher, you've been so offensive and ill-tempered that no one that I know, no one would help you if you even had a flat tire on the side of the road. You have cooked your goose with all of this. I'm going to beat this person up and I'm going to beat that person up. And this person's a bitch and this person's a cunt. You have literally revealed yourself to be like the clown in the Stephen King book. You're just a bizarre freak of nature.
No, I'm fucking pissed. There's a difference in berserk and stupid, psychotic, and every other adjective you want to add into it.
Yeah.
I'm neither of those.
No, but I'm
I'm
just
just a
saying you
very
said a whole
pissed
lot
off-
more than you normally say, and
Yeah,
so
I did. And I had every fucking right to say what I said. Nothing I said was fucking false.
I'll give you my thoughts.
Nothing.
I didn't say it was. I don't think anything you said was false.
I don't know. Yet.
But well, let me make a phone. Actually, I know I'm not going to be able to get a hold of her right now. I'm not going to be able to get a hold of her till this evening.
And by the way, I sent a message to Seth. Once again, he wants to talk about not responding or whatever. I got in touch with Tony. We talked.
Golly, why does he keep doing that?
He's a dumbass.
Or whatever the fuck.
Or
Release it. That's one. Tony. We talked to Tony.
There we go.
I sent a message to Seth. Once again, he wants to talk about not responding or whatever. I got in touch with Tony. We talked to Tony. That
Yeah.
probably ain't happening. Got in touch with the dog handler. Guess what? That ain't happening either. And that ain't even on my decision.
yeah.
Yes, it is, you little liar. Oh, yes, it is. And if everybody will go to Brittany J, hold on a minute, I'll get that video for y'all, because we talked to the actual dog handler for hours. And then the next night, which was last night, she had the dog handler that had the 4 bloodhounds whose husband is still military. And when they carry their dogs around to the different missing people, they charter their own airplane. These are professionals, and these are among the most highly trained dogs right now in the United States of America. So this freak with the enormous giant feet and the little bitty teeny tiny brain is very odd in, again, saying another lie that the dog's not looking was not because of him. And in fact, it was directly him. He did, in fact, say, "You will not search." He did do that. TBI got all of the security clearance from the United States government. She got all the certifications, not only for the handler, but for the dogs. The military paperwork status, everything was presented. And the Sumner County Police and the TBI, they said, "You are top of your field. Come right in. Do what you need to do." This little liar with the big giant feet and the great big mouth doesn't know how foolish and silly he truly is. He does not realize that we know what we're talking about. We batshit crazy sleuthers. We don't know what we're talking about. Isn't that right, Christopher? You like all these veiled threats and, oh, you're going to shame and embarrass Seth and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. You have no idea. You have no idea what we know about you. None. So here is the video. Oh, and also JS for Justice also did the interview with the dog handlers. And JS for Justice is a very well-respected person in the true crime community. So yeah, Christopher, I don't know. You just don't seem like you can learn. It's like you've got a learning disability and you haven't figured out there's actually people smarter and more well-connected than you are. Go figure. It's amazing. Okay, so there's the link. I just put it up in the channel. And now let me go to the proper timestamp. Hold on. All right. I'm getting the timestamp so we can. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay. So the timestamp is 55. Let's see. Yeah, 55 is the timestamp. Okay, there's the timestamp that will take you straight to okay, hold on just a second here. Stop sharing. Present. Hang on. Hang on. Everybody, let's all do row, row, row your boat. All right. Okay, we are at the part where we're waiting on Julia.
Julia Valenti. Yeah, we'd love to hear your opinion on this. What's going on?
Haitian women.
Oh, wait a minute. What did I say, Chris Proudfoot? You're giving a very good indication of a little dick who is guilty as hell of something. I don't know why I said
Other
that.
creators are having
Probably because he's been
not want to give it up.
to so many good people.
Jules, if you want to come up, sure. I asked the.
Stay down.
Are you?
Yeah, sure.
No, it's no pressure. You don't even got to worry about it.
Okay.
My panel is actually very. I mean, where you got to worry about.
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Okay, so she's
I'm
on.
in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where you guys are at right now. So
No tornadoes out here just yet, but it sounds like everyone in the Midwest is having
I
a
was
lot of
wrong on
stuff
that
going on out there. And
timestamp.
I'm
The
hoping everyone's
timestamp
okay.
is
Yeah,
59.
yeah. Lots
I
of
agree. Yeah.
lots of subscribers, and many people are that are supporters of this channel. Yes,
Okay,
our
there's
prayers
the
go out
link.
to everybody.
The
Yep.
timestamp
Thanks
is
to my
59
family,
minutes.
my 11 brothers and sisters.
And that's what's
they're all
playing
there.
right now is right
So
the
let's
very
all pray.
beginning.
Please.
Okay. Yeah, it did
So,
backfire. Christopher Proudfoot.
can you tell me a little
revealed
bit
himself
about
to be a
what you
bully.
do?
Yeah. So
Listen.
I've been in the Army for 16 years. December it'll be. But when I was enlisted, I was a canine handler overseas. I had an explosives canine. Her name was Dahlia. She was amazing. And I served a tour with her. When I came back to stateside and I went to college, became an officer, I was told I can't have a canine anymore because officers can't handle canines in the military because the handler always outranks the dog. The dog always outranks the handler. And you can't have like a general for a dog, like a canine walking around and the handler's a colonel. Like, as much as I would love for dogs to be making the rules up in, like, you know, the military and whatnot, that's not going to happen. Because you're supposed to respect your canine like you would a superior officer. So then I was told, you know what? They saw how much it hurt that I couldn't handle a canine anymore. So the one commander is like, hey, if you switch over to the reserve side, and work as a DoD employee, you can be a canine handler for the Department of Defense, and also will make you a force protection officer for the Army. So when you do like reserve work and you know, the work with like the ATs and stuff like that, you can still be a canine trainer. And then so now I have 7 dogs. 6 are certified canines. They're all dual
7 dogs.
purpose, so they all do patrol work, which means like, you know, personal protection work. But then one's an explosives canine, also one's a narcotics. Gator's the one that everyone has probably heard me talk about the most. He's a narcotics canine and a patrol, but he also does evidence, article, and I mentioned apprehension, but he does live searches, so he does like tracking.
Like
And Aura is the other dog people probably heard me talk about. She's my cadaver dog. She's also trained on explosives and lithium batteries. So and it's like a weird combination of stuff. But the reason why we do that is literally because, especially for Aura, if someone's wearing like a watch or has a device on them, an electronic device, like when their body is buried or whatnot, she's tracking for the cadaver first and foremost, but also since she has lithium battery training, if that person has something on them, it's going to increase their chances of finding someone, obviously well beyond 25%.
Okay, so bizarre little man with enormous feet who's offensive to literally everyone. Here's a little bit of information too. You told a big whopper lie on Web Sleuths. You said that the trained dogs are only accurate 25% of the time. And you said it with great authority. And the truth is that you are, once again, your lips are smacking about something you know nothing about. You are 100% wrong about the dogs being accurate 25% of the time. The accurate statistics is that properly trained dogs are accurate 71 to 92% of the time. Some dogs, individual dogs, are even more accurate than that based on a multitude of conditions. That dogs that have been properly trained are in the proper environment, that some of them can discriminate up to 11 different scents at one time. So Jules, she talks about that when she's tracking, not only does she give the dog the scent of the human, but then she'll also, like if they know that the human is carrying an iPhone, they'll give the iPhone to the dog to get the scent of the phone, and that the combination of, let's say, for example, Sebastian's scent with the scent of the iPhone that he knows those two scents. And so his tracking becomes even more specific. Some of these dogs, bloodhounds, can hold 11 scents at one time to discriminate. And that would be active for something like if you were searching for, let's say, a terrorist in a large group of people. 11 scents at one time. That's just crazy. Okay. So there are things that affect like scent discrimination, which is holding different scents active in their memory at one time. Scent discrimination is more difficult for dogs than simple tracking, following, a scent, or finding a specific object like a cadaver or finding a baseball cap. Just simply identifying and locating is an easier prospect. And some of those dogs are accurate up to about 98% of the time. But in the worst case scenario, the most neophyte of dogs, maybe they're right only, I don't know, 75, 80% of the time. Well, if you're hiding out in the woods, having broken the law, do you want to face a tracker who can find you 75 to 80% of the time? So in the worst case scenario, Christopher, these dogs are going to find your ass. Or in this case, Sebastian. And the Steph, who had the 4 bloodhounds, those bloodhounds, they can and will find Sebastian if he's out there. They can, a bloodhound can track through water. So this nonsense that once again, Christopher Proudfoot speaks with authority like he knows what he's talking about, and really he is just lying. I think the reason that he said that about dogs are only right 25% of the time, I think that he said that because he needs a way to discount if the dogs do find something. He needs a way to say, well, they were tracking, but they were just confused. They smelled a ham sandwich that the cop had for lunch, some kind of crap like that. No, Christopher, you're wrong. Nancy Grace said best witness that she ever had in a court case was a dog. So, yeah, Christopher, you continue to be a clown.
So, there's that, but yeah,
Wow.
that's why
Wow.
we have a lot of dual purpose canines. My youngest one, Bellatrix, she's only 8 months old, like for Harry Potter, Bellatrix. So she's not old enough to be certified in anything yet, aside from biting mom when I'm trying to get her to like sit or whatnot. She literally, if she could say no, I guarantee you that's what she's thinking half the time. Her favorite word is probably no, because she just doesn't.
I love it.
She's a little demon, but I love a little girl to pieces. But yeah, so I have 2 German Shepherds, 1 Shepherd Malinois mix, and the remaining 4 are Belgian Malinois. So they're all nuts, but I love them all.
And I did a video on
that
Belgian
is
Malinois.
wow. I don't.
You can go back and
can
watch.
you believe? I just, first of all, like everybody in chat saying the same thing that I'm thinking. Your knowledge, and what is like the accuracy of
yeah, so it really depends on so if you're talking like, and I was talking about this on I don't know if I'm allowed to mention, I was talking about this on another podcast the other night about this. So this 25% comment, I know where he got that from. He told me we had a phone conversation.
Okay. So she's going to go on and explain that she was talking to Christopher Proudfoot and was talking to him about certain conditions and there being a 25% failure rate. But he misunderstood it because he's not actually a genius, despite how much he wants to tell us that he is. But let me move forward a little bit. So like one of the things that can affect a dog's accuracy rate is simply whether or not the handler keeps those statistics. A lot of the handlers don't even keep the statistics because it does have to be controlled like it is a scientific environment. And a lot of them don't want to mess with that. They know their dog is good. They know their dog has the skills and capabilities, and they just want to help find the lost or missing people. Remember the dog that hit on the trash can? Later turned out that Chris Watts had actually stopped there and thrown some stuff away, and they believe it was probably the toys of the girls, right? So these dogs, they perform different types of scent detection, and they are of differing levels of difficulty. Julia, a lot of her dogs are bomb dogs. So they're identifying and locating a specific item that is not on the move. It's an item that has been in one place. There are live tracker dogs that have to operate through a changing environment. That is difficult, but they're still looking for one item, but it's on the move. And then there's the scent discrimination, which is the hardest, where they've been given 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 11 different scents, and they're trying to keep track of that all at one time. And that's typically your blue hound. Some beagles can do it. Blue hound, the bloodhounds though are special. Can't really use a bloodhound for a cadaver dog, although anecdotally there are people that say they have seen that. My understanding is that they're too sensitive to the smell, and so to get too close to a cadaver is more than what they can tolerate. So they will circle a target, a dead body. They will circle it even like a radius of a couple of miles wide, just because the scent becomes very, very uncomfortable. And I saw someone in Louisiana, they ran their bloodhounds, but then when they would begin to circle, then they would bring in the beagles and the tracker dogs. The bloodhounds would come and identify the potential area, and then the beagles would come in and find the cadaver or whatever it was that they were looking for. So these dogs do a different task, and it can also depend on the environment. It can depend on the conditions. For example, if one of your dogs, like one of these Malinois that Julia has, if he picks up a scent and he begins tracking, then if you have a lot of unknown people that are walking with you, all of the active fresh scent that is unfamiliar to the dog can prove confusing. So what they're supposed to do is, once the dog picks up a scent, then all of the unfamiliar people should move back away from the dog and the handler. They should be given space so that the dog doesn't have to manage all of these unfamiliar scents. If it's just he and the familiar smell of the handler, they're much more accurate in tracking a live target. So the whole process of working dogs, if you want to go down a rabbit hole of fascination, you got to give these animals respect. Just because they don't speak English doesn't mean that they are not absolutely intelligent. They're problem solving. They're incredible animals, truly. I have several Australian Shepherds. My big one, the big male, he's 100 pounds, which is enormous for an Australian Shepherd. He comes off of a working cattle ranch up toward Dallas. And then the little one, both of her parents were working sheep dogs. And then we have 2 dogs that are hunting dogs. And their response rate is so amazing. Like, I just talk to them like they're people, and they just do what I say, right? Like this morning, I was laying there in bed, and my little cockapoo came jumping, ran, and got up on her dad's pillow because she mourns him when he's not there. And I looked at her and I said, "Sage, you're going to be in trouble your dad catches you on his pillow, you're going to be in trouble. And she looked there for a minute, and I just looked at her and I said, go over there and lay down by Nubbin. And my dog got up and walked over to the cat and laid down next to the cat. Just matter of fact, right? So some of these dogs that are called working dogs, whether they're military, law enforcement dogs, whether they're actual cow and sheep dogs, or bird dogs, they are different than your little lap dog, your little pet. They are smart, and they're problem solving, and they understand goal attainment, and they look at you as a partner, not as an owner. So it's pretty interesting to watch them work. Maybe we'll do that, one night. I love to watch the cattle dogs and the sheep dogs. All right, so this is the video where the Julia, the dog handler, tells us what Christopher Proudfoot did. This is her. This is Julia. She's a beautiful woman. I was going to try to show the dog. Well, you'll have to go over and watch the channel. It was a very long interview, couple hours. There we go. There's a Belgian Malinois right there. And so that's her tracking dog, scent discrimination, Aria is the bomb dog. Cadaver dog. I mean, this is a Belgian Malinois. He's big. He's doing a lot of work. So he's a military dog. He's trained in the military. She's a military handler and officer. She got top secret security clearance. It is laughable that little clown of an angry gnome spoke with such disrespect, and Baldface lied to us that he did not call off the dogs, that he's like taunting Seth as being a bully as he does it. And the truth is, they spent thousands of dollars to load all of their dogs up to make the trip to Tennessee. And when they got there, Christopher Proudfoot said, you are not coming on my property. You are not searching my house, and you are not searching the property of my family members. Go watch the video. If you think that Christopher Proudfoot is an alpha male, if you think that he's a good guy, if you're one of the virtue signalers who looks at Christopher Proudfoot as a victim, that you think he's honest, you think he's telling the truth, go watch this woman, go listen. We said to her, this is what he's saying. He's lying. He's a complete liar. Bobby Simmons, are you paying attention, Mr. TBI? There's a missing 15-year-old boy. This is not the time for the good old boy club to be alive and active. Someone needs to be telling the truth. And I really do think the only way that Katie and Christopher are going to tell the truth if they've been arrested. I think that's the only way you'll ever get the truth. Maybe not even then. I mean, Murdoch never told the truth, right? He lied to the very end. But this level of arrogance and entitlement and bald-faced freedom, entitlement to lie and use verbal assault and harassment. Look, go listen to this handler. She is the real deal. She's not a batshit crazy YouTuber like Heather said. Shame on you, Heather. Shame on you. You're confused about who the good guys are. Go listen to this woman. This is the United States military. She and that dog right there is an officer. They deserve our respect. They earned it. They worked for it. All right. I hope you guys have a great day. It is Friday. That was Steph. That was on Brittany's last night. Yes. So Steph was on last night. She has 4 bloodhounds. Yeah, no, it happened to both of them, Yaya. Both Steph and Jules. He told both of them, no, you're not going to come in the house. You're not coming on the property? No. You're not coming on the property of my family members' houses. Unbelievable. And he apparently was really rude to these two women. Listen to this. My heart broke with Steph. I think he was downright aggressive with her. Her husband is military. And he said, we have to tell the truth. This law enforcement needs to know about this man. We have an obligation to the truth. And that's why they actually made an outright decision to speak truth about the way that Christopher Proudfoot acted and what he did to them. And then to hear him on this phone call that happened after Web Sleuths, him saying that he's not the one that called off the dogs. Oh, yes, the hell you did, sucker. Absolutely you did. The higher authority here is Sebastian Rogers is missing. And the mother and the monster of Sebastian Rogers have done nothing but the exact opposite of what concerned adults would do. The mother of Sebastian Rogers got in a car and drove nearly 4 hours away to camp out with Sebastian's monster. Let that sink in. There are people that have had missing children who have stayed in the same house for 35 years because every time they considered move-in, they had the image of their missing child finding his way home again. How can I leave this house? It's the only connection to my missing child. If I leave this house, my missing child cannot find me. And they spend a lifetime in that house where they lived when the kid went missing. True story. Happens over and over and over again. See it all the time. Katie didn't even wait 2 damn weeks before she left the state. You virtue signalers, you guys want to normalize this and act like their behavior is perfectly normal? Normal for who? Listen to the pattern of behavior. Listen to the lies that are told. Stop using virtue signaling to try to prove that you're so much better than everybody else. Deal with the reality that is sitting in front of your nose. Sebastian is missing. Why is Christopher Proudfoot shutting down an investigation? And even more important for me, why is Bobby Simmons allowing him to shut down the investigation? Every judge in Tennessee should be called. Every elected official in Tennessee should be called. The governor ought to be called about the fact that Bobby Simmons is shutting down the investigation into the location of Sebastian. This is the strangest, most bizarre set of circumstances. The entire time that I've covered true crime, I've never seen anything like this, y'all. Never. Never. Something's wrong. Something is really wrong. All right. It's Friday. I hope you guys have something really fun and wonderful planned for this evening. I do hope that you'll go and listen to this interview with the handler of the Belgian Malinois. And then the video from last night is Steph, the handler of 4 bloodhounds. And let's face it, the bloodhounds, they're kind of the rock stars of this type of thing. But here's the difference. So with the Belgian Malinois, if or a Doberman or anything like a German Shepherd, with those dogs, if you're tracking, let's say a criminal or a terrorist or the enemy or whatever, if you're tracking them and you run upon someone with a gun, or you've come up on someone who could be violent, those dogs will protect you. Like Jules's Malinois, that's her coworker, but he is her partner. If there's someone with a gun, he is going to fight to the death to protect Jules. Correct? All right. So their safety, the dogs are safe. A bloodhound is not going to protect you, right? They're wonderful. They're rock stars when it comes to tracking, scent discrimination, item location, things like that. They're rock stars. But it is not in their nature to be aggressive. So if they run upon a criminal element, someone with a gun or someone who's violent, they themselves need to be protected. They'll try to evade, they'll try to leave and run away. So they won't protect you. So you can see that, there are some circumstances where the bloodhounds are desirable because it is about finding the person. But if you're going to be in enemy territory, if you're going to be where maybe there's weirdos chasing you through the woods, right, Christopher Proudfoot, you and your little friends? If you're going to be where you're being stalked by curious little gnomes, then you probably, want that Belgian Malinois with you because he's a fighter. He's a courageous warrior, and he'll fight to the death to protect you. So, all right. Sebastian is missing. Whose butthurt is to take priority away from Sebastian? Who will be so audacious to set themselves in front of Sebastian missing? Chris, you're gross, period. Yeah, and that's essentially what he did, right? Thank you for pointing that out. You're so right. By behaving so badly, by calling people names and threatening people with death, he has erased Sebastian. He has made himself the target of information so that no one is thinking about Sebastian. And the truth is, which is what Trish was doing, she controlled her anger. She was angry. She didn't like being mistreated by Christopher, but she controlled it because there was a higher goal. And the goal is Sebastian is missing. We need to get as much information as we can. So thank you, Trish. You're honestly, you were super. This guy was incorrigible. It's terrible. Just awful. All right. Please remember Summer, her brothers, and other missing children as we add Sebastian to our list. And it's such a disheartening list, isn't it? It's such a deep, terrible list. And you got to wonder why. Why in Tennessee? What in the world is going on that this is happening again? I don't know. Maybe Bobby has the answers to that. All right. You guys, I hope you'll go watch the video on Brittany J's and hear it. It was a great interview. I really liked Jules. She was also on JS for Justice. I believe it was the night before that. And then last night on Brittany's channel was Steph, the handler of the 4 bloodhounds. And it is Friday. So do something fun tonight, okay? You gotta, let your hair down and let loose every now and then, lest you become angry and aggressive like little Chrissy Wissy. Y'all have a good day. Bye.